Hello and welcome to a new edition of Conversations with Elizabeth Ellen Carter. I am Elizabeth Ellen Carter, and it is my absolute pleasure to be talking to Anna St. Clair. Anna and I are in a new anthology that will be coming out on the 21st of October called Upon a Midnight Dreary, which it will be full of lovely, romantic, spooky tales for Halloween. Welcome, Anna. Thank you. We've spoken on Facebook before, but this is the first time we've actually spoken face to face.
It is. It's the first time we've been face to face, and it's lovely. It's fun. Thank you for having me.
Fantastic. Whereabouts in the States are you from?
North Carolina. I'm kind of one of those transplants that came from the north to the south when I was a child. So I have what they term here a Southern accent. I think I don't know what happened to my Northern upbringing, but it's gone. I'm totally in. But I live in the Charlotte area, in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Beautiful, beautiful area. It's an area that I definitely would love to get to one day. So fingers crossed that that we'll be traveling again really soon.
Well, if you do make it to North Carolina, look me up. I'd love to take you around.
That would be wonderful.
Love to do it.
And it's interesting because I spoke to Emily Murdoch and also Emily Royal, who both live in the UK, and sort of you've got to envy them a little bit. In the case of Emily Murdoch, her story is based on the ghost in the town that she lives in. So she just goes outside and walks the streets of this historic village, and she's been able to immerse herself in that. But it's a bit difficult for us who live oceans apart. So how did you go about choosing your ghost?
Well, I wanted a ghost that had something to do with a large estate or a large castle. So I started just looking up ghosts in England and just started scanning through them to see which one had some appeal to me. And I didn't think I'd find, and I didn't find one that I actually patterned my story exactly after, but I took a lot of liberties with the Gray Lady. So I found that, and that's out of Birmingham. Yeah,
Birmingham.
The Dudley Castle in Birmingham. Yeah. So I
Fantastic.
took a little bit of liberties with her. She has quite a story. Her daughter died in childbirth, and about a week or so later she died, and she requested that her husband bury them together and be at the funeral, neither of which did he do, and it led her to haunt the castle.
You see, happy wife, happy life, and if he should have known better.
That's right.
So
he was looking on to new beginnings, I guess, and he just got caught up on it.
And this is it's interesting to examine sort of how you go with this, because in a way there's a little bit of a dichotomy, sort of ghosts, which naturally infers death, and romance and love stories, which at their heart are very life affirming. How did you go about marrying those two elements together?
My mind is a strange place. So what I started thinking about broken promises, and since it's a romance, the first promise that I came across was a broken betrothal. And so the story kind of starts with a young man who is the son of he's the son of an earl, and he finds what they would, I guess, the common girl, somebody that was not a member of royalty or the peerage, and they just fall in love, and he asks her to marry him. And then when he talks to his dad, his father says, nope, you are not allowed to marry her. She's not quality enough, and the whole shebang. And so he gets very upset and goes and signs up to fight with Wellington and is killed. And she finds herself in the family way, and I don't want to give too much of the story away, but she appeals to the Earl to honor, to at least recognize her child, and he doesn't, and so she perishes and bestows a curse. So she curses the Earl, and within a year, the Earl dies, and a cousin comes into the picture, and he actually is, and I've seen this in families before where they have a cousin that's a spitting image of their cousin, from somewhere else in the family. So that's kind of what I took off on. And so this ghost sort of thought she had things going. She was angry, and she thought she had things going the way she wanted. And she sees this young man come up, looks just like her Daniel. And so she starts making his life miserable. He finds a woman that he falls in love with during the first season that he is an Earl. Mm-hmm. And they are betrothed, and she makes their life miserable. viciously trying to kill his betrothed. So he's going to have to help figure out what's going on, figure out who she, what's going on, and how to save his betrothed.
It's really
and the earldom.
It's interesting, sort of this exploration of ghosts being the unfinished business. That mm-hmm. that there's something really interesting in the notion of, there are certain parts of our lives we need to put to bed before we can find peace. And I guess a natural extension of that is, well, if you don't do it while you're alive, sort of, you might come back and do it when you're dead. So there's
sort of keeps us straight in our life.
so there's, in a way, strange redemption arc then comes into ghost stories like this as well. Is supernatural or ghost stories somewhere that you have written before? Is that or is this your first?
It's my first full-fledged paranormal that I've written, because this one has a lot of ghost activity in it. However, I have written another one that I really enjoyed. So I wrote one about a year and a half ago for Halloween, and really looked forward to writing this one because I used a supernatural paranormal theme in that one as well. And it was a Regency romance. So it was a lot of fun, and it wasn't anything far-fetched. It wasn't patterned after a famous ghost or anything like that. It was more patterned after the mother of the heroine.
Right.
So yeah, just a little bit of sprinklings of the things that people always hope for. There's some continuation. That's really where I took off with that.
Oh, that's nice. I like that.
Thank you.
So what are your next plans? What's on your writing slate for the rest of this year?
Well, for the rest of this year, I am mapping out my third book in the Rakes of Mayhem. Mayhem. Sorry, I'm like going with the Rakes of Mayhem, mischief, whatever. And this is the Duke of Disorder. It's like, because they go from one to the other, I'll get edits back on one in the middle of working on another. So it's been it's been a lot of fun. So I'm working on that, and then I'm going to try to get a head start on the first book that I've got due in 2022.
Fantastic. Yep, and that's a continuation of a series or a new series?
That'll be something new. It's actually going to be something new. So
fantastic.
Yes, I started a new series, and so I've got that series kind of on the side burner too, and I'm going to start working with that one and producing some independent novels on that series as well in my spare time. But I'm really excited about the Rakes of Mayhem because the Earl of Excess just launched, and the Marquis of Mischief is coming out, I guess, soon. I'll say soon, and November-ish. And then the Duke of Disorder, which is the one I'm writing now, will come out in early 2022. So I'm excited about this one, and it all ties back to the Lion's Den. That's when I I actually seeded it while I was writing for the Lion's Den. So it's kind of an exciting series to me.
Isn't the Lion's Den a fun series? I've really enjoyed that. I'm looking forward to writing my second entry into the Lion's Den series for early 2022, and I guess for authors and being part of a series that has an extant universe that you write into gives you an opportunity to perhaps take some risks, maybe do something a little bit out of the ordinary, because you've got that great framework to begin with. So is that the case for yourself, or sort of are you sort of really sort of plotted into where it fits into your existing series?
No, the one I wrote, Lion's Prey, fit right into the series, and it was what you have to do is kind of immerse yourself into the details and then let it gel and think about how, whatever comes to mind that you want to kind of manipulate into the story and figure out how that story plots out. And then when I was doing that one, that's how the Rakes of Mayhem came up. This one, I have no real idea yet. I've got a second one that I'm going to be plugging in at the third quarter of next year. So I'm going to try to get that started first part of the next year, so I can get a little ahead of that. But I'm excited about it because I love the format. I love the world that's been created. And I've read a number of the books, and each of us seem to take it to a different direction.
Yeah.
There's Black Widow has such a personality. I think she can be devious and kind, and I mean she's just got all kinds of dimensions.
She does. I did make her a little larcenous.
Made her what? I'm sorry.
Oh, a little larcenous. In The Lion Sleeps Tonight, the heroine seeks her help to get her man. And the heroine has a very unusual cobra head bangle that sort of the hero, who's a soldier in India, sent to her. And yes, Mrs. Dove Lion actually quite likes that and says, I'll take that. But what she delivers in return more than makes up for a piece of jewelry being lost. So
well, you whet my appetite for that book. So and I do have it. I did purchase it so I can read it. I'm looking forward to that. It's such a terrific world of books.
And this is it. And I guess I think it's one of the things that's made Upon a Midnight Dreary so so fantastic to work on as an author, because the brief, we were given a brief, and it's a briefer brief than The Lion's Den, which has a lot more elements to include. But the idea of all the authors participating, 21 of us, given exactly the same brief, and I know every story will be different. So it's going to be, I can't wait to read them all. It's sort of, from what I've learned of others' stories, it's sort of, oh, that looks really interesting. I can't wait to dive into that one too. So I think that's going to keep us all busy as readers from now until when the Christmas anthologies come out.
Mm-hmm. It's true. That's true. And Kathryn always comes up with a really good theme for all of these. It boggles my mind how she creates these central ties, because it makes so much sense, and it's something that you can easily stick to, pull out and work with.
Anna, thank you very much for our chat today. Absolutely enjoyed having you in conversation. And everyone, Upon a Midnight Dreary, out October 21st. It's only 99 cents for 21 amazing stories from great authors from Dragonblade Publishing. So pick yourself up a copy now, and we look forward to seeing you again soon.